What's up, everybody? This is episode 21 of Rolling Over 40, featuring two-stripe purple belt Travis Sparks. Travis trains in Midland, Texas, similar to my last guest, Rowdy Stillwell, and we discuss his entire journey, which started at Texas Tech University, continued on to Midland, Texas, involved some Oklahoma City, lots and lots of competitions, including against a famous Gracie. So please enjoy this episode with Travis Sparks. So anytime, the last guy I interviewed was actually also from Midland, and when I started this podcast, I never expected that at any point that two people in a row would be from Midland. So are you from Midland, or do you just work there?
I'm not. Yep, I've been out here for 8 years. Yeah.
Okay. And you're 30, so you've been out there since you're 22.
Yep,
so
yep.
That sounds like you went to college somewhere, and then after graduation, you got a job and moved to Midland, yeah?
Yep, and you can guess what I do for work. Yep, but
so are you an engineer?
I'm not. I'm a geologist. So
okay,
I
all right.
do like oil and gas exploration, that kind of thing. Yep. So, but I've actually bounced all over. I started in Midland and started jiu-jitsu. I actually started jiu-jitsu in grad school, but most of my jiu-jitsu was in Midland. And then I just got back. I did 2 years in Oklahoma City, actually.
Okay.
I was working for a company there, so I actually got to train with a couple of gyms out there in Oklahoma City, Lovato's gym in particular, so that was pretty cool. And then just got another job back here in Midland, so come back to Midland, yep.
Oh, you said just got another job back, but you've been in Midland for 8 years, or no?
Yep. So I was in Midland for 8 years. First stint was like 7 years. Moved to Oklahoma City, and now I'm back. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
So 7 years, and then so you recently went to Oklahoma City, and then just came back.
Yep.
Oh,
exactly.
so it wasn't like 8 continuous years. Like, did you actually move to Oklahoma City and then you moved back to Midland?
Yep.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. Oh yeah, we moved the whole fam. I got 2 little ones. I got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. So we packed up and moved to Oklahoma City, and then moved back to Midland. That's kind of the nature of the beast sometimes with the.
Oh, is it? That sounds like a lot of moving in a short amount of time, though. Like, you were only in Oklahoma City for what, a year, 2 years?
2 years. Yep. Yep. Yeah. It is what it is. You take a job, and then things change, and Midland's a hard place to beat when it comes to oil and gas, so it kind of sucks you back in,
Yeah, so where I got out, I did get out, and I never turned back, but I mean, I got nothing against it. Growing up there was fine. Growing up there was totally fine. But yeah, it's just not, unless you're going to go into, but unless you're going to go into like, the oil industry, it's hard to really do much else. But you're not from Midland originally, are you?
Nope, I'm from Marble Falls, Texas, kind of outside of Austin. So I grew up in Central Texas. Yep.
Did you say Mobile Falls?
Marble Falls, yeah.
Marble Falls. Okay.
I got quite that Texas accent. You'll have to kind of get through it. But
yeah, that's okay. My ears have to adjust to it, when I've been away from it for a while. So I've never even heard of Marble Falls. So it's outside of Austin? Like, how far outside of Austin?
Like 45 minutes. Lake Marble Falls. You heard of like the Highland Lakes, like LBJ, all that right in there. It's on the Midland side of Austin. But
the Midland side of Austin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I've never heard of it at all. No, I don't even know that part of Texas all that well. Growing up in Midland, it's like you're so far from all the major cities. Sure, you go there, you visit them, but I don't know much about that otherwise. The city I know most about outside of Midland would be Junction. And you're familiar with Junction, right? I guess that's what. Yep. Is that a couple hours from where you grew up?
Yep. Yep. Not far.
Okay.
A couple hours.
My dad and
I.
Okay. Yeah, I would camp there. My dad and I would camp on the Llano River. That's the one that flooded, and with that horrible tragedy with the that summer camp last summer or whatever, that flood.
It was terrible.
It was awful, but it's crazy because that's the river I grew up canoeing down my whole childhood with my dad.
Yeah.
Not that close to where that happened, but the same river, I think. But yeah, I mean, I love that part of the world. Junction growing up there was, I mean, growing up going to Junction all the time was awesome. So did you spend a lot of time in the outdoors growing up?
Oh yeah, yep. So I'm basically a redneck, we hunting and fishing and stuff like that. Yep.
Okay.
Actually, martial arts was I don't know. It's just martial arts has changed so much. First of all, jiu-jitsu wasn't even offered in the town I grew up in, but just martial arts in general, I think has changed a ton. When I was a kid, it wasn't really like very accessible, or even if it was I didn't know about it. It just if you're not in that kind of I guess lane, it never really was a thing. And then actually martial arts only ever became a thing when I was older, like in an adult almost. So it's interesting. Now I feel like jiu-jitsu is almost everywhere. It's if you're a kid, you can go to jiu-jitsu pretty much anywhere you want.
It's crazy, right? It is absolutely crazy. Just and I've mentioned this on previous episodes, but just the gym that I go to, my gym has grown considerably just in the few years that I've been going, and my kids have been going there. I mean, the kid classes have between, I don't know, 50 and 80 kids in one class at one time. So yeah, they're and I mean, I think it's just happening everywhere, though. It seems like every time I drive down the street, there's another jiu-jitsu gym opening up. So yeah, I mean, the whole martial arts world is completely different than it was even when I was a kid as well.
When you were a kid, was martial arts a thing? Was it a?
I mean, I took taekwondo when I was in fourth grade.
Okay.
But I mean, I didn't really learn anything. It wasn't. I just never took to it. It didn't. It just wasn't. And jiu-jitsu obviously wasn't around in the was this like the 90s. Now, of course, Midland has, I don't know, so I hear a handful of, like four. Are there four jiu-jitsu gyms in Midland now?
I was just
five
now.
now.
Five
Okay.
gyms. Isn't that crazy? Yep.
That is nuts. Yeah. So, so you grew up around Austin. Does that mean did you go to UT as an undergrad?
I did not. No, I went to West Texas School. I played football for a brief stint at Angelo State University in San Angelo.
Oh,
so that's
no
what
way.
Kinda introduced me to West Texas, right?
I went
there.
That's where a bunch of my friends from high school went to Angelo State because that's, I mean, one of the closest universities to Midland. I mean, that's like what, an hour and a half, 2 hours from Midland.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm very. My best buddy from high school went to Angelo State. So okay, so you played football for ASU.
Yep. I found out I was much better at geology than I was football. So I played 2 years at Angelo State, and then I finished undergrad there. I went to Texas Tech, and Texas Tech to Lubbock, and then to Midland. So I've been out in West Texas for a hot minute, and then like I said.
Guess so.
We left for 2 years to Oklahoma City, but then now we're back.
So hold on, undergrad. So sorry, I missed that part. Texas Tech, was that part of undergrad, or you did all your undergrad at Angelo State?
Grad school, yeah.
That was only grad school. Okay,
yeah.
So you did the 4 years in San Angelo, and then 2 years at Tech in Lubbock.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Funny enough, that's actually where I found jiu-jitsu. Is Texas Tech at the rec center was offering a jiu-jitsu class.
On campus?
On campus for free.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. Well, not for free, but if you were a student, like for free even. So,
like, could you get like credit for it, like college credit for it?
Nope. No.
Okay.
It was totally it was just a group, I think, basically meeting at the rec, and they had a big mat space, and so it was like a jiu-jitsu club almost, but there was a coach there, and he was our professor there. He was a brown belt at the time, and he was teaching it 3 times a week, and I started doing it there, and fell in love with it. Yeah.
Now, had you had interest before that, or was that where it started? Had you heard of it? Obviously UFC and all that, maybe.
Yeah. My dad was a big Brock Lesnar fan, right? Growing up.
Yeah.
So and when we were a kid, though, we never were buying pay-per-views and stuff like that. So we were always just watching. What was UFC on? It was MTV. No, it wasn't MTV. It was
I don't
UFC
remember.
Unfiltered. It was a TV show, and you could watch it. And looking back, these fights were pretty old by then. They were like a year old, but this is like my
so
first
you're
time to
watching
watch
replays and stuff.
replays and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't remember.
Dad would always
God.
watch those.
Okay, so those are always on TV. So you're watching these as a kid. You're seeing Brock Lesnar and I mean who? Cain Velasquez, Frank Mir, probably all those guys. Okay. And that's I guess the seed was kind of planted then, maybe?
Yeah. And I still remember my dad saying, he's like, man, I like this UFC stuff, except for when they do that ground stuff. They could just cut that out. Yeah, Dad was like, they could just cut that out. But then if you remember, Brock Lesnar actually got footlocked by Frank Mir their first time when they fought. Yes. And, Brock Lesnar was like an unstoppable force. And then he fought Frank Mir, and Frank Mir footlocked him. And, that kind of like,
footlocked him. So I'm sure I've seen the fight, but for some reason I thought it was an armbar. But it sounds like you probably know better than me.
No, it was a heel hook. Yeah, it was a heel hook.
A heel hook.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I believe that right. And so they were like, oh, yeah, see, the jiu-jitsu stuff, it's legit, But
was that, so your dad, I'm curious, so when your dad was like, this ground stuff, they need to get rid of that. When he saw that, though, was he still like, that's lame, you got to punch somebody, you're supposed to be standing up?
No doubt, yeah, it's still.
Really? Yeah. That's kind of the old-fashioned mentality about watching fighting, right?
And he was kind of vindicated because the second Brock Lesnar fight, Brock kind of learned a little bit more jiu-jitsu, and he ended up beating up Frank Mir pretty bad in the second one.
Okay.
But, so that was it. And then it kind of died off, and like I said, I was really into football, and then it's cliche, but to be honest, definitely Conor McGregor brought me back into the sport again. I remember the first time seeing him on TV. I was like, this is pretty interesting. And I got into watching that again, and that really hooked me on UFC. I got really into UFC. I was kind of burned out on football as well, like playing college, and I was just burned out on. I was kind of tired of watching it on TV too, so needed like a new sport to be interested in. Found found UFC, and then all that came together at once. Tech was offering jiu-jitsu classes. I was like, oh yeah, I know this. I'm gonna try this out. So,
did you play all 4 years of football at ASU?
No, I didn't. I played 2 years. Yep.
2 years. Okay, and then all right, you're looking for a new sport. But I mean UFC, it's a mix of all that stuff. So why not? Why not Muay Thai? Why not boxing? Why not just a UFC gym or something? Was it just because they had one there? There it was. It was kind of convenient. And it's like, maybe I'll give this a shot.
I don't know. That's interesting. No, I don't know. That's a great question. I've never thought of it that way. Definitely because it was offered, right? Definitely because it was offered. I don't know, some reason I felt more comfortable with jiu-jitsu than I did like striking. Like, I don't know, I grew up with two brothers, so we were constantly wrestling and trying to, imitate moves for what we saw on TV, stuff like that. Yeah. So
did you try to imitate like the more sophisticated moves? Like, did you try to imitate like, flying arm bars and triangles and whatnot?
No, I do, yeah. My brother would one time he was I do remember we were kids, he was practicing arm bars on me, something he had saw. But then the funniest story, this is a funny story. I'm 5 years older than my little brother, and my older brother's 2 years older than me. I'm middle child. And we would always play the game, you start with a chokehold on me. I don't recommend, don't let your kids do this, but... I would always let him, you start with a fully locked in choke on me, and I think, I can get out of it, I'll get out of it.
All right.
And we were setting up the match, and right then my older brother walked in. He was like, hold up, Daniel, let me kind of show you. And I think I was 10 at the time, and Daniel was, I was probably 12, he was 7. So just old enough to be decently strong, and Austin had to, really, lock it in fully, get his hand behind his elbow, and then really get it tight, and and we started, and sure enough, Daniel choked me unconscious. I was 12. I was fighting it, and I totally went unconscious, and I was laying on the ground, and Daniel thought he had killed me. He was like, "Oh no!
Oh my God!
I killed Travis.
I killed my brother."
I woke up, and my dad walked in. He was like, "What the heck's going on, guys?" And I was like, "Daniel just choked Travis."
Boys will be boys.
Yeah.
So hold on. Which brother choked you, the older one or the younger one?
My little brother.
But because
did.
your older brother taught him how?
Yeah, my older brother kind of gave him some technique, but it was bad technique, but it still worked.
But it worked.
He told Daniel, like, as soon as I say go, like, jump and pull backwards as hard as you can.
Oh, like that. So it wasn't just like, okay, let's start like this. It was, oh wow, and you remember that to this day. That's crazy.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure you're going to remember when you
that
almost
story.
die. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
so-
All right. But I mean, you guys would like, okay, I'll put you in the chokehold. You try to get out of it. That was the game.
Yep. We played that.
Did you keep playing it after that? After that time?
No, we didn't. No, that was into that game. we did all kinds of stuff. We gave my mom a really hard time. My grandpa bought us boxing gloves one time, and
Okay.
and I remember my older brother. He had to be on his knees, and it'd be him versus me and my little brother. We'd try to circle around him and get him. We did all that. But that's a funny. I'm not sure why I gravitated towards jiu-jitsu first. I definitely started with UFC, and then I think it was there,
And so at Tech, that's where it started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
Tech, yep.
Did you do a solid 2 years at Tech?
I did, yeah, but I did, but I only started training jiu-jitsu like the second year in grad school, so I trained about a year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So about a year there, and then in a gi, I take it.
Yep, it was all in the gi. Yeah, they didn't train any no gi at the time.
Okay, and then next was next gym was Midland.
Midland, yes. So I got a job out in Midland, and that's where I met Bruno Bastos and started training under him. So
Okay.
That's really kind of, I think, where I really got into jiu-jitsu, most because the gym was just a lot higher level, guys. It had in Lubbock, our highest ranked belt was a blue belt, and he just crushed everybody. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so that was the level of that gym. It was great, but it's just the reality of it. When you went to Midland, that gym had the full gambit of it had several black belts, several brown belts, purple. So blue belt was nothing at that gym. So
yeah.
definitely.
So when you were in Tech, and then you moved to Midland, I mean, did you get into a gym right away? Like once you were training in Tech, you were like,
Yep,
no matter
I was
where,
pretty
like
hooked,
wherever
yeah.
I go, I'm going to keep doing this.
Yep. I remember like the week I moved to Midland, I started pretty quick. I was pretty, and Lubbock's pretty close to Midland, so the professor in Lubbock, he recommended a couple of gyms. So
Okay, and have you been at the same gym in Midland the whole time?
I was yep, I was there the whole time till I went to Oklahoma City, and now that I've come back, another gym is opened in Midland, and it's called 092 Jiu-Jitsu, and that's where I'm training now. It's affiliated with Bruno's gym, but I really like the group that they're doing there and everything they're doing there, so when I came back, that's where I'm training now. It's called 092 Jiu-Jitsu. That's actually the area code of our professor's, where he grew up in Manaus. So his name is Felipe Ferreira. Brazil. Yep,
Oh, Brazil.
Manaus, Brazil. Yep.
Okay. I assumed, but so what's the difference in the what's the difference between those two gyms? Like, what's the difference in the vibe and like how they run things, or is it about the same?
I think they're all great gyms. I really like Felipe, and just not just as a professor, as he's a good friend of mine as well, and his wife and my wife. My wife was in his wife's wedding, so they're really really close. So there's the friendship piece of it there, and then also kind of a game changer is morning classes are in jiu-jitsu are real hit or miss. to find a good morning class. I'm talking early morning class, like 5 a.m. class.
Oh, that is early. Is that what time you go? It's 5 a.m.?
Yeah, yep, that's what time. 5:30. No one to lie, 5:30, and they've cultivated a really great 5:30 class. They have like 20 to 30 students at a 5:30 class, and where I'm at right now with my kids, afternoons are really difficult. I get little ones. I got my 2-year-old. When I get home from work, the last thing my 2-year-old wants to hear is like, "Hey, I'm going to jiu-jitsu."
Yeah, right.
Like, what is
I'm leaving
jiu-jitsu,
the house
man?
again. I'll be back later. Right.
No doubt. So
you got a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, right?
yep,
Okay.
2-year-old, a 6-month-old.
All that's only going to get worse, by the way, because once they start playing soccer and they have all their afternoon activities, afternoons become so full. So that morning class thing, sorry to cut you off. We got a morning class at my gym. The earliest morning class is 6:30, and I go when I can because I'm similar to you. I love the morning class. I love getting it out of the way. I come home after work and I'm just done for the day. But it's a little bit too late for me. If there was like a 5 or 5:30 a.m. class, I would be there all day. But so you go there and then do you go straight to work from the gym?
Yeah, pretty much. Now, Midland's pretty small, so I swing back by the house and shower and stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of hate the 5:30. I hate getting up that early, but it's
But you do it.
I do it because it is the especially like you said. I believe you when you say it's only gonna get worse. If I want to train,
so if you can get used to that morning thing,
get used to it, and I have. I've been doing it for quite a while now, so I get used to it, and so. But
okay,
anyhow.
How many days a week do you train?
Normally three. I'll train probably Monday, Wednesday, Fridays mornings, and then if I can get the Saturday class, that's a great class, and pick up that 4th class. But Saturday is hit or miss, right? We're always traveling or got some kind of birthday party or
in that regard. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, the weekends do get busy, of course. So if you've been training 8 years, let me see, does that make you a brown belt?
I'm a purple belt, yep.
Okay, all right. And do you guys do stripes at your gym?
We do, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yep.
and do you
I'm
have
a purple belt, 2 stripes.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So what has that belt progression been like for you? Like, because recently, so I'm a 2-stripe white belt.
Okay.
Very, very little credibility here.
No.
But a lot of my cohort, a lot of the guys that kind of started around the same time as me, a little bit before me, a bunch of them recently got their blue belts. So a whole lot of them, right? And one consistent thing they've all told me is they're like, "Oh my God, man, just enjoy that white belt because as soon as I put this blue belt on, the higher belts they're not nice anymore." So,
sure.
And they mean it with all due respect and with all kindness. It's not like they're mean, but it's like they go harder on you once you put that blue belt on. And what do you feel like that? Do you remember that? Was it about like that for you?
Yeah, I always thought it was a little different for me. I'm a big guy, so I weigh close to 300 pounds. I'm big, and so I always felt like even when I was a white belt, upper belts couldn't afford to just go too easy because just my sheer weight. They had to use good technique because even a big guy that he's has no technique at all, you still have to, like, if he gets on top of you, right, you're kind of you're still in trouble, right? So I don't know. I don't remember that. I remember blue belts basically beating me up from day one. I always
even the smaller blue belts, like people. I guess most people are smaller than you then. So how tall are you? Though?
Yeah, I'm like 6 foot. Yeah.
6 foot, 300 pounds. I see why you played football. That's a football size right there. Okay, so when you first started, was there? I'm curious, like, just to go back to that though, like being a big dude, like, were there when you very, very first started, when you walked in, did you, like, what was your ego like? Has your ego been tested? Like, were you like, that little purple belt over there, there's no way he's going to be able to do anything to me? And then would you get,
Yeah, that's the best part about jiu-jitsu, right?
Okay.
If you don't ever experience that, you've really missed out. Like the humbling part, everybody gets beat up.
Yeah.
And what they don't tell you though is you still continue to always get beat up. Like,
right.
my professor now, Felipe, he's little. He's like, what division does he fight in? But I want to say he's, I can't remember the exact weight class, but I think he probably walks around 160 pounds.
Okay.
So I'm close to double his weight. I mean, this morning he whooped me. He beat me up, and stand up too, right? I was like, because I was like, I'm not. Usually with little guys, I like to pull guard, right? I feel like, I'm gonna pull guard, and then I'm gonna come up, and if I get on top, it's because I use good technique to come on top.
Got it. Yeah.
With him though, he's so good. I'm not pulling guard on you. I'm gonna, I
Right.
just
You'll use whatever
top.
advantage you can, huh?
Whatever I get. And then he took me down. He took me down with a takedown. Couple of takedowns. So I was like, I was pissed. Anyway,
yeah, right. But so pulling guard, as a big dude though, so I would say that you, in terms of technique, because I'm about the size of your instructor. I'm 160, a little bit less than 160, so I'm smaller than most people. And so for me, it's like no matter what I do, I have to try to use decent technique, which so far I haven't done great at that, but I'm learning. But it's interesting. It's a whole different perspective for you, because it's like for you to like win a round, you have to force yourself to do things that are less advantageous to you, right? So like if like you said, if you're on top, if you've got somebody in side control or mount, you can, I don't know, I would assume you can kind of just use your weight and crush them for most of the round. Okay, so did it take you a while then? Did it take you a while to like force yourself to say, you know what, I really need to learn better technique, so I'm gonna pull guard?
Yep, it did for sure. And you just kind of have to make that a rule for yourself. Like when you're going against someone like much smaller than you, you pull guard. It is difficult though, because I like to compete a lot, and that's a totally different mindset when you're competing though. Is competition is less so, a lot of times less so about like having like the best technique does win, but a lot of times strategy is huge, right? And so you can't be pulling guard for fun in a competition, right? Just because you want to work on your guard. That's a tough one to do.
Well, you want to win the match. So that that was another one of my questions. Right? So you've competed. You've competed a fair amount?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. So I've competed in the World Championships, IBJJF World Championships as a purple belt. I did the Pan American Championships. Mostly all IBJJF stuff. Like I've done no-gi worlds, that kind of thing. I've never done any ADCC. The best I ever did was, believe it or not, I competed a lot during COVID. And I always tell people this was when most people weren't competing. And so the talent pool was pretty small. And I got third place at Pan American Championships as a blue belt. So that was my best performance. I did go to Worlds as a purple belt, and I won 2 matches at Worlds, so I was proud of that. If you're a purple belt and you've signed up to travel to Los Angeles to compete in jiu-jitsu, you're probably pretty solid. So I was proud of that win. I lost to the world champion, so that's half the fun, is just getting to compete against these guys that are just excellent at jiu-jitsu. So
right. So you what's the weight class then? Because I don't know. I only know mine.
It's called ultra
roughly.
heavy. Yep, weight class is ultra heavy. Yeah, it's funny. The weight class is 222 pounds up to 999 pounds.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. So as long as you're above 220, you're in that weight class.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. So that's a big range, though. So it goes down. So I mean, when you competed, were you weighing roughly what you do now, or were you trying to get down lower?
I was a little bit slimmer back then. I was probably 275-ish.
Okay.
The weight classes people are all over. But believe it or not, I really struggled more against guys a little bit smaller than me, like those 240, 250-pound guys that are super strong, but also super athletic as well. I have gone against some great big guys, like 400-pound plus guys.
Oh, my God.
I always found those guys were a little easier than like the super athletic guys. Once you get so big, I don't know. I don't think it helps you a ton, right? You still got to do like athletic movements and stuff like that. But anyhow, yep.
So your strategy when you compete, though, like we were saying, you were saying like your strategy is completely different, obviously, which makes sense.
Sure.
But I mean, are you? So then you're trying to use your weight then in that case. So you're trying to do. You're not pulling guard. You're trying to do takedowns and get on top. I assume, right?
Mm-hmm. But honestly, the best guys can do both. Like the best big guys. I think that's why everyone loves Victor Hugo, and that's why he's such a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. They call it big man flow. Like he's a big guy, but he can do everything that smaller guys can do. And so if you don't practice it, you know, you're never going to get good at it. Also, you got to kind of pick the right spots in tournaments. I have pulled guard in tournaments before, but they got to be very strategic about it, right, and have a great game plan. It can't be like, we're going to pull guard and see what happens. It's a pull guard and hopefully I have a sweep within the next 15 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, so it's interesting. And usually try something like that at a smaller local tournament before you pay all this money and go to Los Angeles and then do some bonehead move like that.
Right, which you've done. You've traveled for competitions. It sounds like. So you traveled to L.A. Where all have you traveled to?
Traveled to L.A. quite a bit. That's where World Championships are at. They're in the Walter Pyramid.
Ironically, I work there. That's at Cal State Long Beach. That's where that's one of the places I teach. So I'm there every day. Although I don't compete and I don't have any plans to, but I mean, it's funny. It comes up all the time. I've never been to a competition there, but I work in a couple buildings over from the pyramid. So
cool.
Yeah,
you ought to go over there and just
with
watch sometimes. They're pretty fun.
I should.
That's in Anaheim.
Beach.
Long Beach. That's right. I have competed in Anaheim as well. During COVID, things were kind of strange, and they were moving around tournaments. And then competed a lot in Orlando. Orlando has the Pan American Championship, so we went out there. At the time, my wife was competing as well, so that was.
I was going to ask. So she trains too.
She does.
Or she. Okay, so
she did.
What's her belt?
KK is my wife's name is Kathleen. Her name's KK. She's a blue belt.
Okay.
She basically hasn't trained since we had our first kid. We had our first child, and she tried to go back and just didn't feel right. And she was also some kind of just logistical things, like she was breastfeeding and trying to do that while doing jiu-jitsu. It was not working well.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
But I know she's going to get back to it. So that was the best. When she was training and I was training, that was like the best setup. You're both talking about, making time and making this work. It's best when your spouse is on board. Your spouse doesn't have to train, but it definitely helps. That was just a lot of fun. We traveled a lot doing that. So
you and your wife were traveling together to these competitions, and you were both competing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's a whole different thing. But she was
much better
cool.
than me. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. She had some success.
Yes, Kathleen got second place in the World Championships one year. Yeah,
wow.
So, as a blue belt, so I was that was cool. She was a much better competitor than me. I was, I was there for fun and to test myself. But
I mean, I got a lot of respect. I mean, hey, just you went out there and tried. Much respect for even jumping in the ring. I think that's amazing because I ain't doing it. I mean, I'm on the mat, but it's a whole different thing.
I
competing,
hear you. 100%. Yeah, and that's a journey too. I didn't compete for the first. I didn't compete for the first 3 years I trained jiu-jitsu. So your journey can change.
Right.
It can definitely. And how long have you been training?
2 years.
2 years.
I've been training 2 years. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, man, it's one of those things. It's like I'd been interested for a really long time, but it's just it took forever for me to finally jump in and and find the time to do it, find the right gym, and it just the timing, everything
Sure.
kind of finally worked out. I got my kids into it, and my
Nice.
kids are 10 and no 11 and 12 now, and my
Okay.
son doesn't train anymore. He's on a swim team now, and that
Okay.
takes up
Yeah.
all his time. But I mean, I'm happy for what he learned in the 2 years or so he was doing it. I think it's just. I assume you're probably going to get your kids into it. I would imagine.
Yeah.
And
I think so. We'll see.
yeah.
When, but
yeah. They're a little young, obviously,
Yeah.
but and my daughter does it now. But I just think I don't know. I feel like there's some just really important fundamentals about the sport that are great to have as like life as a life skill. It's kind of like riding a bike. Certain things I feel like in terms of just leverage and whatnot are just
oh yeah.
like my son. Even if he never trains again, I feel like he'll have some muscle memories for some basic things about takedowns or whatnot.
Yeah,
Like just if somebody
100%.
grabs him, I feel like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I feel like it's just I'm happy that they know that they have some sort of little foundation, which is more than what I learned in. I mean, and there was nothing else going on, but the taekwondo that I took that year of
Sure.
taekwondo, it's like
Yep.
I kind of sort of learned maybe how to kick a little bit, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's tough. I get tons of questions, like especially at work about martial arts and like you think my kids should do martial arts, and obviously like I'll always say yes, but I don't really know how the other martial arts and how. I do know jiu-jitsu, right? And I know that if your kid takes jiu-jitsu, yes, he is going to be able to defend himself or herself and build those fundamentals. I don't know how well all the other martial arts apply to those things, right?
Yeah,
I'm
neither
sure
do
they-
I. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that's the jujitsu is all I know, and I only kind of know it. So, but no, I'm glad they have that little foundation in terms of all the martial arts. At least for me, I feel like that's grappling. Some sort of grappling is
Yeah.
the one that I'm glad they kind of sort of have some knowledge about. So I was going to ask you, do you? So in terms of submissions and whatnot, like like as you went through the years, white belt, blue belt, purple belt, how have your I guess specialties or favorite submissions and sweeps and things like that, how has that changed through the years of you training?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, well, you're definitely trying to always add different submissions because I think you have a bigger arsenal, more things are open, right? The more I've learned about jiu-jitsu is if a submission's not there, it's really kind of hard to force a submission. Usually if one submission you're thinking of is not available, there's another one that is available. You just don't know it, right? So trying to learn those. But you do get your like bread and butter submissions. I think more for me though is always trying to understand that control versus submission balance, right? And that's different for big guys too, as well as for little guys. I think early on, just like everybody, I was really submission prone. Like I wanted to get submissions, and then you got to learn, like you got to establish control, right? So now for a bigger guy, for me is I would say my control is now better than my submission game is. So that's all I'm trying to fold that back in is instead of if I'm in a 3-minute round and I've found myself in side control, I can't just settle that round for being happy with ending the round in side control. I need to get a submission. I think that's the biggest thing for me now is it's almost back to maybe giving up some control or really trying to push that control to lead it to a submission, right? So I think that's kind of the phase I'm in now is not settling just for dominant positions, but to push those submissions. I'm still really terrible at a lot of submissions, like my guillotine. It should be much better, and the reason I'm not very good at it is because a lot of times when you go for a guillotine, you wind up in a bad position, right? And so if you're thinking of it just from a purely competition, winning that round standpoint, like, no, I'm not gonna go for that. I'm gonna just stay in this control position, but you just can't get better like that. So that, I think that's where I'm at, is definitely trying to, just sharpen those, right, and get those where they work better. Right?
So when you say control positions, though, you say
Yep.
You mean like side control or mount or back control?
Side control, mount. Yep.
Okay, so you're saying, because at the beginning you said, or at the beginning of your answer to that question, you said like control over submission or something like that, to where
that's
it's like
definitely the first lesson you learned, right?
Okay, okay. So you're saying like if I can just hold, it's a good lesson for beginners to try to just hold a control position and see if you can stay there. Yeah, I'm pretty bad about that, I gotta say. One thing, and maybe it's because I'm smaller, I don't know, I can't stand mount. I can't stay there for very long at all. Like, no matter what I do, if somebody wants to get me off of them if I'm in mount, it's not that hard for even people the same size as me. I'll take side control any day over mount. Even back control. But yeah, that's probably something, because I'm in a different stage, obviously. As far as something I need to work on is just not, of course, go for the submission, but if I can hold that dang side control or mount or back control for a long period of time, you'd say, because, as you're a much higher belt than me, you'd say that's an important skill, right, to try to hold that 100%. Control position? Okay.
And I think the longer, like the mount is very important, but even if you're struggling with a mount, I would say the back control position is, because the back control position really leads to a lot of submissions. That's one that I think in competition you can't get a stalling penalty for holding the back. That's not stalling. It's the ability.
I didn't even know there was such a thing as a stalling penalty. So you can get stalling penalties for just laying on somebody's side control or mount?
Yep. For sure, but not in mount, and not in back control, but in side control, yes. If you're not pressing the action and you're just staying in side control, you can actually get a penalty. And I think that's true, because if you're just sitting in side control, there's definitely advances to be made. Whereas the back is totally different, in my opinion. The back is like, they're constantly being threatened. So when I say I'm good at control, I would say I'm better at control from side control, and from mount, definitely a lot of work to do in the back control department, right? If you get really good at that. So that's the fun part about jiu-jitsu, though, right? Is there's always something to get better at.
There's always something to get better at. It's crazy when I talk to black belts who are like, oh, man, when you get a black belt, it's like you're starting over. And it's like... It's a crazy thing to hear. Even our instructor, he's a guy named Jiva Santana. He's famous for he was known as the arm collector. He fought in the UFC, I think UFC, MMA for sure. I mean, he's known as the arm collector. The arm bars are his thing. And I've heard him mention in class a few times, he's like, oh, I'm still trying to get my arm bar better. And it's like, the arm collector is trying to improve his arm bar still. It's like, wow. It's like no matter how good you get, there's always improvement you can make, which it does make the sport fun for sure. But what are the submissions that you are best at?
Kimura, north-south Kimura is definitely my money submission.
So when you're in top north-south, you get the Kimura from there.
The Kimura,
I don't really know how to do that one. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's just my favorite, because I like submissions that if you don't get them, you're fine, right? If it doesn't happen, they're still in a terrible spot, right?
Okay.
And so that one I've always gravitated towards, and there's some tricks to it, and that's definitely my most common submission. Big guy submissions, that's my thing.
What are the big guy submissions? What else would they be?
Key locks, right? Key locks, Kimuras. I think a lot of things that are you're really controlling the person's upper body, and then you're
So more about arms than chokes? Or what?
No,
I'm sure there's some
also
chokes in there.
Yep, a lot of head and arm chokes. Those kind of
So
things.
like arm triangle.
Arm triangles. Yep.
Okay.
It's funny you say that. A goal of mine is I have never submitted somebody with a leg triangle. Never.
Oh.
I've been training 8 years.
I don't even know what it is, honestly. I think I kind of do, that. I'm sure I'm sure a black belt or somebody has done it to me, and I've tapped on it before, but
Basically,
a leg
when
triangle.
your arm and your head are within your legs, right? A triangle. God. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Wait, you mean so when leg triangle, you don't mean just a traditional triangle. You mean
I do. No, I mean traditional triangle.
Oh, a traditional triangle. That's a leg triangle is a triangle. So
yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah,
okay.
We were talking about an arm triangle, so but yeah,
that's right.
Most
I'm
people,
just making sure I'm getting my terminology right. Like I said, no credibility over here. So wait,
I'm sure you got it.
Isn't the arm triangle? Because I'm pretty sure the arm triangle. Let me just make sure. The arm triangle is the one where I'm on top and your arm kind of gets stuck, and I can kind of pin it there, and you kind of. Okay. So I see what you're saying now. For a minute, I got confused. No, because the arm triangle. I don't know. Do you remember like early on when you were training and you would like get a tap and it would be like, oh my God, did I just get a tap with that submission? Because I mean, I'm still there. It's taken me a ridiculously long time to discuss submissions because, like when I started the podcast, like almost a year ago, I'd have guests on and I'd be like, yeah, I could probably count on two hands the number of times I've submitted anybody, and I've been training over a year.
I get you. Yep.
And now it's significantly more than that, thankfully, including the arm triangle. When I was drilling the other day, a couple weeks ago during warm-ups, a buddy of mine, I forget, we were just talking, and he said, oh, yeah, when you're in this arm triangle. And because I didn't really know how to do it, and he was like, oh, here, let me show you real quick. And then later that day, in a round with a different guy, I realized, and I needed to do the thing, though, where I jump over his body because his arm was here. You know what I mean? And so I was like, do it. And I jumped over, and then I just started moving my body, and then he tapped right away. And I was like, oh, Jesus. It's just such an awesome feeling, though, when you're like, I did it right. Oh, my God.
Yep.
So,
I tell people it's kind of like catching a fish almost. Like when you get it, you're like so surprised this is happening,
Yes, that's a great analogy. That is a great analogy. Yeah, there's a great feeling when you catch it, when you feel it biting, and you're like, oh, I've actually got a fish here. Holy shit. Yeah. So big guy submissions. All right. So you said you've never locked a triangle though.
No, I haven't. Yeah, and I used to have what do you call him, a gym arch nemesis, right? Your guy you just battle with every day. And I told him I was before the year's end, my goal, it was like January, I said my New Year's goal is to triangle you this year. So.
Not just anybody, you, right?
Yeah. It didn't happen. I didn't do it, and now we don't train together anymore. So it's not for a lack of trying, but just that's it. You definitely. I got short, stubby legs, and but I won't give up. I'll keep trying.
Yeah. That's a good goal. I mean, I've gotten close like twice because I'm still so early, but literally about a year ago, because I'm skinny, obviously. About a year ago, I had a guy. Somebody had done it to me to where they're in my guard. They were in full guard on me, and then they instantly went to, and it just shocked me. They were a higher belt. And they went to spider guard and then just threw the triangle so fast, right? So I decided to try that, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try it on this other guy, and I got him in the triangle, and I couldn't make him tap though. It was one of those where it's like I'm looking at the clock and there's like a minute left, and I can tell it's so tight. He's not getting out, but my technique isn't good enough yet to know what to do. Pieces. So he kept trying to stand and all that, and I had it tight, and I'm like, come on. It was close, but that's the closest I've gotten to locking that triangle and getting the tap.
Closer than I have ever been.
Oh yeah. But you've had somebody in it before, I'm sure, like in your triangle.
I guess, maybe. I can't think of it.
What about guillotines?
Guillotines I've gotten better at.
Okay.
That's a big one I've worked on. When I was in Oklahoma City, we trained a ton of no-gi. We trained a ton of no-gi, and guillotine is, I think, more prominent.
Oh, that's more of a no-gi thing?
In the gi.
But I thought, okay, here's a dumb question, because I thought like with a gi you can grab the collar and pull, but with no gi there's no collar to grab.
That's right.
Right?
I always feel like in the gi, to get your arm through underneath the neck is harder because they can grab your sleeves. It's just a lot more friction involved. With no-gi, you can kind of slip a guillotine in much easier.
Okay.
It's definitely a more common no-gi submission. You see it a lot more in no-gi than you do in the gi.
Okay.
But it's a great submission in the gi as well, because especially, you're right, you can grip those lapels too. It doesn't have to just be a purely hand-to-hand grip.
Right.
Yeah, definitely working that one. I like it a lot because you can there's submissions that you can get a guillotine and not wind up in a bad position either. I'm still in the phase of my guillotine though, where I go for it and I flop over and he slips his head out. Now I'm in bottom, and
Yeah.
So, but
what do you prefer, no gi or gi?
I'm definitely better in the gi. I do get tired of putting that thing on. Like if it's summertime and hot, I'd rather just
in a place like Midland too.
Yeah, if I'm real sore and tired, I'd be like, let's just no gi. But I'm definitely much better in the gi. One of the big reasons is I didn't grow up wrestling, and no gi attracts a lot of wrestlers.
Okay.
And those guys have always just had a leg up on me. That's been my total kryptonite. Is they just have that wrestling base. Y'all probably have some wrestlers in your gym as well.
And I feel like I'll get destroyed by a guy, and then I'll find out later, oh, he wrestled in high school and he's 20 years old, and it's like, oh, well, you definitely walk into a jiu-jitsu gym with a wrestling background, and you're a couple steps ahead of the average person who doesn't have that background.
I don't know what in Texas, wrestling is really not a big deal. It's growing, but like if you go to a small, did Midland have wrestling? I don't think they have wrestling now.
I don't even remember if they had wrestling or not. If they did, I didn't know one person who wrestled, so maybe not.
I don't think they even have it now, to be honest.
Okay.
Only like a lot of like their Metroplex and Houston schools have some wrestling, but it just wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
When I moved to Oklahoma, though, wrestling's a huge deal there. All the schools have it.
Okay.
And what's funny about their jiu-jitsu is everyone in that gym has their level of wrestling is much higher.
Okay.
And so when I trained no-gi, it was sometimes pretty miserable. I was having to train against these guys wrestled at like Oklahoma State and OU, and they were white belts, but they were like just obliterating me. So I was like, let's put a gi on, okay?
Something to grab, right?
Yeah, this will help me out. This is just this no-gi stuff with you guys is
right. Well, did you find like when you're wearing, if you do the gi against these wrestling guys, is it mainly because of the grips, like you can grab and hold tight and just kind of use that to your advantage?
Yeah, kind of, but you don't ever really figure out, because those guys know they don't ever put on a gi. they're like, gi day,
right.
we're not showing up. They do every now and then, but not a lot. But
right.
But no, the best part about training with them though is you do level up a lot on your own wrestling and stuff like that. You do get a lot better. A long way from ever beating them, but you did get better. So
right. So why do you train, Travis? For fun, for self-defense, for fitness, all of those things, something else?
Yeah, I think you can make a case for training for all those things, but to me it's for fun. It's just like, if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do for your health and fitness, right? Jiu-jitsu is not the only thing you can do. I find it to be the funnest way to do it, and I love that piece of it. And then I like the community part of it too. Just team members, and from the smallest thing is they're expecting you to be at class, so you've got to show up, right? If you don't show up, they can't train because their training partner skipped class. So I like that part. I've always loved the competition side of it as well. Jiu-Jitsu is such a small community that you can, if you have a UFC fighter that you love, you're probably not going to get to train with him. You'd be lucky to get to meet that person. Jiu-Jitsu is not like that. The biggest names in Jiu-Jitsu, you could show up tomorrow morning at their gym and go and train with them. So that's a really cool part about Jiu-Jitsu. So yeah, I think it's for fun. I know there's tons of benefits, right? But yeah.
Have
being
you
fun is what gets you going to class. So.
Yeah, do you guys, like you said, the community? Because I find that's consistent with everybody I talk to. Because we have a great community at our gym, but I'm finding that's something that most people say about their own gym. It's like such a great community feel. It's very like, would you say it about yours? A very welcoming atmosphere. Like people can walk in and be a white belt and be pretty welcomed on the mat.
Oh yeah, that's like a total red flag for a gym if it's not, right? That's the whole point, is to be getting in new people. That's the best part about jiu-jitsu, is that white belt stage, right? If a gym is not open to that, to me that's a total red flag. But then also, once you're past that stage, there's the training partner, camaraderie. Some of these guys now in Midland I've been training with for a long time, and we've been, you think about it, you do kind of join a bond if it's, I've said this before, it's 5:30 in the morning and we're all, grown men, in these white looking robes, rolling around with one another,
Yes.
So it is kind of odd what we're doing. So you do kind of form a bond with those guys over time. So that's a cool part of it as well.
No, I completely agree. Has there been any aha moments or techniques that completely changed your game in all of your 8 years?
Oh yeah, several. I can give you an example. A biggest one was go back to being a Conor McGregor fan in judo, because in competition you start from your feet. Do y'all start from your feet sometimes, or do you mostly start from your knees?
It's all over. It's all over. And it's honestly a kind of thing, when you're about to roll with somebody, oftentimes it's like, how do you want to start standing? Do you want to start on the ground? How do you want to start? Yep. So it's all across the board. Yep.
So, right, back to big guy jiu-jitsu, you want to be on top. So one important thing is learning takedowns, right? And so I fell in love with judo. We had a really good judo professor. And I never really understood how circling worked. And it's the same practice in wrestling is too. Is the way you circle and you're loading people up on your power hip, and that power hip is what throws people. I never understood that. I'd be in a competition, my coach be yelling like, circle to the left, circle left, and I'm like, well, all right, I'll do it, but I have no idea why he's saying that. Well, I was rewatching a film, and it was Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor. And if you know Conor McGregor, he has a really powerful left hand. That's his money shot, right? And you don't want to circle into it. If you circle into it, he obviously hits you with it. And I remember Eddie's coaches yelling at him like, circle to the right, circle right, circle right. And Eddie didn't. He circled right to the left, and bam. And Eddie talked about that later. He's like, I don't know, I just kind of froze. I shouldn't have been circling that way.
Right.
That clicked for me. I was like, oh, that's the same thing. Like, you're not getting punched at in jiu-jitsu, but you're circling away from their power hip. If you circle away from it, they can't throw you with it. If you circle right into it, then they can load you and throw you, right? So that was a huge aha moment for me, because the same thing happened to me. My coaches yelling to me circle in a particular way that I was like, why are they yelling that? And then now that if you watch boxing or anything like that, they're constantly working on how they circle and how they approach that footwork. Same with takedowns. Yeah.
Right. So I guess it's just a little more. I can hear what you're saying, because it's a little more intuitive with boxing, because it's like you're going to get punched with a fist, and I'm trying to even understand it as you talk about it right now in terms of hips. It's like, okay, because what you're talking about is a defensive strategy, right? It's a defensive aha moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
100%. So circling in terms. So you're talking about circling in terms of trying not to get taken down in a certain way.
Yep. 100%. And you end a match and you go up to your coach like, I can't believe I let that guy take me down, and coach was like, I could. You set up perfectly for him. Like you walked right into it,
Right.
It's just,
right.
It's just knowledge, right? Learning those things.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always easier to notice that as a spectator as well than when you're the guy in the middle of the fight.
Yep. 100%. Yep. So
have you had any bad injuries in training?
Oh yeah, definitely. Nothing really bad.
Okay.
I had an injury that kept me off 2 months off the gym. I kind of separated my AC joint. Actually, it was drilling. It wasn't even training. It was just drilling, and it was a move. It was a butterfly guard sweep, and you actually, the way it works, you retain both grips, right? So the point of it is they have nowhere to post, and they're going to fall over. Well,
right.
If you have nowhere to post, you have to post right on your shoulder. And so I remember we were training, and my training partner, really slow, he just kind of tipped me over, and I fell on my shoulder, and bam, separated my AC joint. So
did you feel it right away?
Yeah, I did, and that took forever to get over. But I did get over it. I never had to do any kind of surgeries or anything. But it's just funny, that's how I got injured, is just drilling. Now I know, I know the point of the drill is, but I'm putting my hand down, like I'm going to catch myself, like I'm not just going to fall on my shoulder. Yep. So I did that when I was a white belt. No, but I've been really lucky. Nothing really major. Always seem to be kind of banged up, right? That's the tough part about jiu-jitsu, is always seems like something's hurting, right? You never feel great. Nothing.
But I mean,
me off the mat.
Training, being somebody in their 20s training, you're not going to get injured as frequently as somebody in their 40s or even 30s. So that's another good reason to start training when you're young. Have you ever gotten felt discouraged or hit a plateau?
Oh, for sure. I think definitely too, moving was pretty difficult, right? Moving, and then I actually was having a hard time finding a gym that I liked when we moved
to Oklahoma City.
Yep, and I feel like you lose some progress too. Like professors, they like to see like consistency, right? And so when you move, it almost sometimes feels like you're starting over. And then in competitions too, right? It's hard to win. It gets really, really hard to win, and definitely discouraged with like competing, especially at like the world level stage. I've gone back and forth of, do I want to do that, or do I want to compete on the regional, just the kind of local regional scene? That's where I'm at right now. I haven't competed at Worlds since 2023, and so definitely that. But in terms of plateauing too, it's like, I would say the competition side for me is what sticks out. Is like, these matches are tough to win. Some of these, and there's all kinds of nuances that, like, some of these guys have been wrestling their whole life. Some of these guys are treating this as a full-time job. There's that. And then also in the development stage too. I'm trying to think of plateau. Less so there. I feel it's just what I'm focusing. Whenever I'm focusing on something, I feel like I'm getting better at it. It's when you're not focusing on something, and then you're like, a year goes by, and you're like, oh, I'm still just as crappy as that at that as I've ever been. You're like, dang,
Yeah.
I need to, definitely improve on that. So, but no,
That's good. I mean, no, go ahead.
I also, I guess now that I'm processing the question more, definitely having the kids was a big change, right? It went from me and my wife training, traveling, competing, to then my wife's not training anymore, and the time was just real constricted, right? So I think that's been, I wouldn't say a plateau, but definitely a challenge that I got through. I definitely, during that time, I was kind of like, man, do I really want to keep doing this? These early morning classes, if I don't do those, then I have to kind of skip out on family time in the evenings. And I think what really did it for me is moving back to Midland. When I moved back to Midland, I, had my old, a lot of my old training partners and everything like that. So I think that's really kind of what reinvigorated me with jiu-jitsu, was moving back to Midland, and then, but still trying to figure that out, right?
The timing and the schedule. So that's one of the hardest things about the class that I go to and the class I started in, because the intro class, if you're a beginner and you're just starting, it's at my gym. It's at it starts at 7:45 on weeknights, and so you get home. I was getting home around 9:30. I still go to that class. So getting home at 9:30 on a weeknight, and my kids, they wait up for me. They don't want to go to bed until Daddy gets home. So now I get home at 9:30. They're still up. They're not getting to bed till 10. I mean,
How
it
old
puts
are
a
your
lot of
kids?
strain. They're 11 and 12. So
11 and 12.
I mean, but they just want to stay up, and
Sure.
and I mean, well, if I had started earlier, at least we could have put them to bed and they'd be asleep when I got home. But yeah, the fact that they're still awake makes it difficult for me to get in there that many nights during the week. But I mean, luckily my gym offers a ton of times. There's the 6:30 class, and I can go to any of the classes now. There's 6:30, there's noon, there's 6:15, and there's 7:45, and there's also weekends. So yeah, I'm kind of all across the board. I kind of get a good mix of those classes going in. But yeah, if I could go to that morning class, like I was saying before, all the time, I would. But at least I don't work on Fridays, and I'm able to get into that noon class.
There you go.
Usually on Fridays. I'm starting to do that, so that can be a consistent one for me. But yeah, I mean, when you have the family, when you have the kids, it presents new challenges in terms of when you can train, and you obviously experienced that whole transition.
Yep, finding that balance is big, and getting into something consistent, that's huge. I think when Bowen's my first daughter, our first kid, I was super inconsistent with jiu-jitsu, just because it was constantly like, Bowen didn't sleep at all last night, neither did I. I'm not training today, right? And that kind of thing. I've gotten better with my second child, kind of, that's not as big of a deal anymore, like, oh, I didn't sleep last night. Like, it's, it's not as...
It's part of the job. It comes with the territory.
Sure. My wife does most of the work. I can't lie.
Okay.
I'm kind of... I can be quite useless sometimes.
Hey, it's a team effort. It's a team effort, man.
I do try, but she definitely is... I can definitely do it without her. And so...
Right.
I think with the second child, I've gotten better at understanding how that schedule works, how what can work, and finding the right fit. So,
I'd like to move on to the lightning round if you're ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Do you have a favorite submission to get caught in, or least favorite to get caught in?
Oh, 100% least favorite is leg triangles, or just triangles.
Why is that?
Oh, because they actually gave me cauliflower ear.
Oh.
Because like I told you, my old gym, what do you call it? Yeah, my gym partner, he was always triangling me. I definitely get caught in that the most. And it's a frustrating position too because you kind of say you have to go into it, and a lot of times big guys will let people put triangles on you, and then I'll be able to pass their guard. Have you ever had that? You'd go for a triangle, but you end up getting your guard passed.
Pretty much every time I try a triangle, that happens.
Sure, yeah, but big guys, we get like super addicted to that, and so we're like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing that. Well, as guys get better, it actually flips, and most of the times you get triangled. Every now and then you get a pass, but I'm still kind of addicted to just. I think this time, if he tries to triangle me, I'm gonna get past. So, if I ever catch a new guy in the gym, I'll tell him that triangles are illegal at this gym. We don't allow them.
just tell him that, just to mess with him, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
I like that.
Triangles. I hate triangles. So anyhow.
So, what song, if you had a walkout music song, what song would it be?
One time I actually got to do a super fight. My walkout song was Cowboy by Kid Rock.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
So you've actually had one. That's awesome. Okay.
One time, yep. Yep.
That is cool.
Yep.
Is there a jiu-jitsu rule you could change if you could?
Jiu-jitsu rule I would change. Oh yeah, I would. If you were a wrestler, you have to go straight to blue belt. You're not allowed to compete at white belt.
That makes sense.
I remember that.
That makes sense.
I was so frustrated as a white belt getting beat up by wrestlers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can
I might
still
agree with you on that one.
You got to go straight to blue belt. Don't be bullying the white belts. No.
Who's your dream role? Any grappler, past or present?
Dream role? Oh, man. Well, I think you got to say one of the Gracies for sure. Probably Hoist Gracie. Yeah, he's... I feel like he's just like the king of...
Right.
The god of jiu-jitsu. He didn't start it, but he definitely made it what it is. I have gotten to compete against a Gracie.
Really?
Hiring Gracie. Yep. That was pretty fun.
Oh, hit on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I met him. I sent my kids to the little. They did it was called Bully Proof. It's like a summer camp, and it's like a week-long thing, and like my kids are already doing the jiu-jitsu, but I kind of wanted them to get a little more context, and so so Hidon was one of the instructors. So you were at the academy in Torrance?
No. This wasn't a competition. I think it's someone different. See, my American, I'm terrible. It spells American as Rayron, but
yeah. It's no, that's the guy, like Ryriron, I think is how he spells it. Yeah.
I competed against him. Yep, he was a blue belt. Yep, and I competed against him. We might be thinking about a different
and you
Gracie,
destroyed him, right?
Yeah. No.
I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, I got tapped in 30 seconds. I was all amped up for it, like really fired up, ready to go, and he pulled guard right into an arm bar and tapped me. So, but
I can't believe you went against
Hito.
Hito.
I got to compete against him
In a competition, though. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, but anyhow. So, yeah, but I think any one of the Gracies, that's got to be a dream role, right?
Right. Then let's see. Last one. What is one word that best describes your jiu-jitsu style? That's a hard question, I know. It could be 2 words. It could be a phrase.
Big guy. We talked about it already.
Big
guy jiu-jitsu.
I thought you were going to go there. That makes sense.
It is what it is.
Right.
I haven't mastered that big man flow yet. I don't have that yet. That's the goal. But it's not there yet. It's a work in progress. So,
well, Travis, this has been great, man. Thank you so much for coming on.